So I wanted to show you the prong collar dance. So before I introduce the dogs to the e-collar, I like to use the prong collar to teach the dog how to properly follow the leash. So this is especially important when we have dogs who have learned how to pull on the leash, how to go against the pressure of the leash. We need to change that so that the dog understands the leash now as a communication guidance tool rather than just as a restraint. Once the dog understands proper leash communication, then we start introducing them to remote collar communication. So Miss Prada is wearing a 2.25 millimeter Hermspringer prong collar. I also have a cover over top of the prong collar because Prada has some allergies. She's very, very sensitive. And just like we can be allergic to the metal in earrings, sometimes dogs can be allergic to a metal contact allergy. So just to make sure that she doesn't have a reaction to the metal, we're just going to cover the prong collar just to make sure. For dogs that aren't sensitive to metal or have allergies, it's no problem whatsoever. We just want to put the prong collar on the dog. We get a better effect from the prong collar that way. And we always want to make sure we're using the appropriate size. So if you had a dog with much longer hair, like a shepherd or a husky, we would be using the 3.0 millimeter with the longer leg length. Prada obviously is a very short-haired dog, so the small short leg on the 2.25 millimeter is more than enough. So what I'm going to do with Prada when I introduce her to the prong collar is I'm just going to start moving around. When she starts to go ahead of me or in the opposite direction, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to let her get to the end of the leash. When she comes back to me, I'm going to relax my end, but I'm not going to let the leash go with her as she pulls. I'm just going to stop. Let's go. Good. 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 Every time you hear me saying good, I'm marking Prada when she comes back towards me. So when she stops pulling and moves in my direction, I want her to know that that's what I'm looking for, as opposed to continuing to pull. Let's go. So it's just a really simple series of gentle turns where I want to make sure I'm being very careful how I'm using the leash. So I'm not giving the leash back to the dog when the dog is pulling. I'm not initiating a tug of war by starting to pull on her first. Good, good. And I'm just continuing to mark the things that I like with good and encourage her just to follow me around. So when done right, the prong collar dance is a very simple, easy, boring, non-eventful exercise that just teaches the dog how to follow the leash. Good. 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 So Prada is starting to really look to me, follow me around. She's really getting a good idea that I want her to follow rather than pull. So now I'm going to start using the leash a little bit more actively and giving her more directional guidance with it. Let's go. Good. Let's go. Good. Hey guys, so now that we have great leash communication with Miss Prada thanks to the prong collar. As you saw earlier when we did the prong collar dance, once that foundational piece is in place and Prada understands steering, directional guidance thanks to our prong collar leash work, the next step is to start layering our remote collar over the top of that leash work. So on the walk, we're going to use prong collar and remote collar, because if you want to think about the prong collar and leash like you're steering, so it's your directional guidance, and you can think of your e-collar like your gas and brake. So both are super important to give the dog the full communication picture about how to stay calm, where to walk, how to walk with the handler, and how to stay tuned in. And as you can see, this little freight train is well reformed now and walking like an angel.